welcome back everyone to MixItUp Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas. The theme of this podcast is, simply related to my YouTube motto, Mix It Up, which I implement on my main channel. Which means that instead of dedicating to just one topic to record, I try to have a mixture for everything that I record. So, so I won't just do gaming or pranks, for example. But the phrase mix it up could have more meanings in general life, and behind the scenes. This podcast is mostly a monologue. However, in season 2, this very episode is the first episode of season 2, I will try and have guests on as well. So definitely stay tuned. So finally, I am back once and for all, not just here, but on all my channels. On my main channel, I have been posting daily vlogs and recording daily vlogs, and have been posting some epic bangers. By the way, I've gotten a 200 subscriber special on that channel, so definitely go subscribe to that. Plus, I have been I have some exciting bangers coming soon, and that's one of them. This is episode 1 of season 2 of Mix It Up Podcast. You all you all might be wondering where I've been and why I haven't posted on any of these channels or followed through. And that is because of procrastination, a topic I will be discussing later in this episode. Disclaimer. Eh, Disclaimer. In these podcast episodes of Mix It Up Podcast, I will go deeper into some subjects. I am trying not to be too personal or political or religious. This is not a church's podcast or a political podcast. This podcast is meant for entertainment purposes, though sometimes I will incorporate life lessons in this podcast. The biggest of how my motto Mix It Up matters, and how it can be generically used in life. I am not trying to boss people around or tell them how to use it. It is up to the viewer on how they use what they've learned from the podcast. But sometimes life lessons like that or random concepts are needed in the podcast world. So even though it's entertainment, basically I am going to be incorporating life lessons, especially about how the theme Mix It Up matters. This podcast is also meant to go into the nitty gritty as well, and behind the scenes of my YouTube and live videos as well. So I've got lots of elements I'm bringing to this podcast. That's why I've got this podcast, is sort of me more talking at monologue style currently, though I might expand to have dialogue. First, I wanted to share some announcements and my opening remarks, a tradition that I will not only be implementing on this podcast and all future episodes, but even on my main channel as well. I am your host, Nicholas. Welcome to Mix It Up Podcast. Some announcements for today's podcast are: 1. The first announcement is that I am sorry that I have a non-professional and sort of messy background. I will be working on making more of a professional and cleaner background for my podcast, which I'm probably going to procrastinate at just like what I am going to be discussing in this podcast. So it's funny how that has a tie-in. But I need to get some gear for that. And speaking of gear, announcement number 2, gear, gear, gear. I am going to be installing a soundboard in in which I can then plug into my computer, and from there I will be able to have calls from my phone, so like audio calls or whatever, routed into my podcast, and even guests that may be in person. They would sit on that beanbag that's behind me there. I will be working with some of my friends, but expect phone style podcasts starting at some point, or even Zoom. So right now you only see me, but the software I'm using, OBS, I can then use to um share my screen and do Skype and have Skype calls or Zoom meetings or Teams or FaceTime web, although that's not really ideal, Apple FaceTime web. But yeah, Skype, Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, and then that way I can then implement those recordings into my podcast and all of that. Um, and that's probably most likely what it's gonna be like, especially given how I've got the YouTube video podcast. Announcement number 3. Every week on Tuesday at noon Eastern Time Zone, expect a podcast episode to be released. So that being said, I'm recording this Friday, August 30th, but I'm gonna schedule upload it. Right after this, I'm gonna upload it onto YouTube, but I'm gonna have it as a schedule upload for Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. So for those of you that aren't sure what Eastern Time Zone means, I mean New York City, DC, Atlanta, Orlando, Charleston time. Eastern US Daylight Time. Currently, podcast episodes will be YouTube video only, like I was mentioning in announcement number 2, which is why I would most likely prefer to have Zoom and Skype meetings rather than over the phone style. But I do have audio recordings, even from the intro and all of those podcasts from earlier on, so that when I do have the funds to pay for an RSS feed, uh, oh, come on, why is my camera out of focus? Okay, camera, focus here, focus, focus. Focus, camera. Okay, well, I guess I'm sort of out of focus. I definitely apologize for being out of focus. That's another thing I'm gonna work on, but yeah, just bear with me here. I totally did not intend for the camera to get out of focus whatsoever. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to do the best I can do, and hopefully with the new setup, yeah. But anyways, okay, right, I'm sorry, I sort of went on a tangent there, but oh, there you go. But when things like that happen, I am gonna have to get sidetracked and explain what's going on, because I care and I notice everything. So before anyone comments in the comments, I did notice that and I did catch it. Hopefully I caught it in time, but yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, but I do have the audio recordings from the previous podcast episodes, so that when I do have the funds to pay for an RSS feed, which is basically how you get it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Pandora, then I can be posting those episodes as well. So this takes me to my next announcement and final announcement, announcement number cuatro, announcement number 4. Announcement number 4 is please, please, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and share this episode with a friend and share the channel link. The more the views and the subscribers, the better. My goal is to get enough subscribers on my channels as to where I can get revenue and monetized. A topic that I will talk about in a future podcast. Opening remarks, everyone. This is the opening remarks. Well, everyone, now with the announcements out of the way, I am going to start off by sharing my opening remarks. Phew! And this actually I typed up a couple days ago, so this time is not in relevance to real time as I record it, or not in relevance to recording time. It's in relevance to a couple days ago when I planned the script. So yeah, planning a podcast is a whole lot. And I was up at midnight last night, like 11:40 p.m. And of course, not last night in relevance to today when I record it, but midnight a couple nights ago in relevance to when I edited the script. Plus, so I am tired today, or the day that I typed up this script, Tuesday, so this past Tuesday, 30, 29, 28, 27th. Tuesday the 27th was when I typed up this script. So yeah. So I'm tired today, or on Tuesday I was tired as a result. On Tuesday the 27th, because today is the 30th as I record it. Plus, I had to plan some more this morning, and that was Tuesday when I was planning some more that morning too. So I have been busy around here planning podcasts, getting my channel background, all of that. Um, I've just been busy doing all of that, and even playing Minecraft. So if you aren't subscribed to my gaming channel, you may have noticed I came back and then left partly because of procrastination, which is the topic of today's podcast, and the other part is because of busy schedules with the start of the school year. Okay. Currently, I don't have any sponsorships, but whenever I do get to sponsorships, this would be the part of the podcast where I would announce the episode's sponsor or even sponsors, depending on whether or not I would have one or two or even more. And this is now, drumroll please, where the episode begins. And I know usually on a podcast I would just I would read things a little differently, but because this is the first episode using this script, I'm reading it in a different way, reading the section headers, just so then you all get an idea of what the script is like and what to expect. So just bear with me. The first episode, or maybe even two, I'm not sure, are gonna be different as I learn. But this is the part where everything really picks up. I know the intro and announcements were long, but I have to do that, and in an in an episode, and all of that, especially on a podcast. I know I'm getting sidetracked and going into tangents. But just please bear with me. As I'm learning how to script and even read from the script. I'm doing the best I can, but of course, like I talked about in a previous podcast episode on this channel, sort of like building a house, right? The skills to host a podcast and host really well, or film a YouTube and film really well, are gonna be rusty at first, right? Sort of like when you build a house, right? You don't have the final product, right? You have all these steps before you get to the final product, and the same thing that way, basically. Go check out that episode if you haven't done so already, because it's a cool concept I talked about. Okay. Now for the part you all have been waiting for. So I am back, as you can probably tell, and I have some exciting changes. The first is that I have updated my podcast theme music for season 2. The second announcement, and I know I did announcements earlier, but I had to add some more um, remarks and announcements. Um, the second announcement is that I am at my gaming computer. If if you all cannot tell based off of my chair and my headphones, and yeah, I am at my gaming computer. And if you recognize me from my gaming channel, then even better. You all know that this is the background from that channel. Currently I don't have any cameras except for my webcam. Um, but I am thinking about installing some other cameras to have some fun setups. Oh, and spoiler alert, I did a searching for the future the other day related to those products, and that searching for the future I will upload on my main channel right after I record this, and that will already be uploaded, or already will have been uploaded for you all by the time this episode gets released. Oh, and what's even better is not only will I be uploading that, but I will also be going on Amazon.com as well, and even buying those products as well. hmm it's probably gonna take be a little tricky at first to set up. I mean, I might have this set up even when I am working on the setup, because it's not gonna be like an afternoon, or maybe it can. I'm not sure, but I actually will be vlogging that setup, so that will actually be a cool video as well. So please definitely go subscribe to all of my channels. All of the links are in the description and all of that. I know I'm getting sidetracked, but the hype's real. So definitely subscribe if you want to see more entertaining content. So okay. Yeah, I got sidetracked there, but you know I had to build up the hype, right? What's a podcast without hyping the audience for exciting stuff? Okay, and usually I don't do spoiler alerts, but I had to, you know, I had to. Usually it's a cliffhanger, but this is actually the first time in my history of recording YouTube videos where I have given a spoiler alert. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got on a spoiler alert there. I'm sorry, but I'm excited for this because for me it means more behind the scenes technology for me to use. Some more toys, I guess. So that should be fun. Yeah, but yeah, I am using OBS to record all episodes in season 2, except for like the Zoom interview ones. Those are, of course, I'm gonna use the built-in Zoom meeting recorder. I know I did my announcements routine earlier, but I had some more that I wanted to share. So I am back and recording podcasts, but I took a break. You all might be wondering why the heck I took a break from that recording and on any of my channels. That is because of busy schedules plus procrastinating. And procrastination is what I wanted to discuss in today's podcast episode. I also have to implement my motto of mixing it up and how it has tie-ins as well, because that's the theme of the theme of every podcast episode, and how it may apply in generic ways and has direct tie-ins. Plus, I have to go through a deeper dive into the nitty gritty of some behind the scenes. So, as a viewer, you all just see whether or not a YouTuber is uploading or not. But one of the things that a lot of YouTubers don't discuss is how hard the job of creating content can be. So that's why in today's video, I'm probably that one YouTuber that's actually being honest about the job of a YouTuber. And I will have more podcast episodes about this topic as well, because it's an interesting topic, and there's lots of aspects about it. Well, at least from my perspective as a creator, right? Each creator is different, so I don't wanna. So at least from my perspective as a creator, producing content can be challenging. So I just have to infer that most other YouTubers, especially the solo ones that are doing everything on their own, have the challenge of doing all the tasks in one. Sort of like what I'm doing. But creators like Mr. Beast probably feel it at sometimes. I don't want to speak on behalf of other YouTubers, but I wanted to address this topic based off of what I have noticed, at least for myself, the reason why I randomly appear and then immediately disappear. That is because of things such as procrastination, among others. So, as YouTubers, we have 6 major categories, which are as follows: planning, which is number 1, filming, number 2, editing, posting and uploading, branding, and free time. I have to plan the content that I produce and make scripts. I have to film entertaining content that will make people laugh. I also have to edit all that content. I have to post, then I also have to post that amazing content on YouTube and wait what feels like 10 hours for it to finish the upload process because YouTube's uploading tabs aren't really the best most of the time. Only on a lucky day, when you click that upload button and drag your YouTube video file into it, will it upload immediately and be processed and finished. But yeah. And that's also something you don't see as a viewer. As a viewer, you only see the final product. You don't see all the steps it takes. So that's why I'm going into this, and I will have more episodes related, just dedicated to these steps as well. Um, but yeah, I have to film. Yeah, and I have to do the branding to the channels, like changing the banner image, making announcement videos, right? In addition to the regular videos, right? In addition to the podcasts on this channel, I have to make just like random like behind the scenes or testing software, announcement videos, because the channel would be boring if there wasn't like a testing the software, testing the hardware type of video every once in a while. And to make promotional videos, which is a new category I haven't done yet, but I hope to soon. Plus, I need to have my own quality free time because I am a human, for Pete's sake, and we all need time that isn't spent entertaining others. See, you see, the problem is all these categories can have major effects, and if I am tired when planning, I don't record when I need to because the planning takes longer, and so that takes up the time that I would record. And if I'm tired after recording, then I don't have the energy to edit. And if I don't have that edit, right, all the, because most of my videos, especially on my main channel, I edit, and if I don't have that edited final product, then I can't upload, and so on and so forth. So it's sort of like a domino effect, a dog chasing its own tail, and a weird mixture hurricane salad type of Niddy Griddy style. Then when it comes to free time, I spend a lot more free time when I should be managing myself to making sure that content gets produced and even uploaded. And a lot of that is energy levels. Like right now, or the other day, when I planned this script, I was tired. So energy levels can affect the content. And they definitely are, or at least my content among all my channels. Of course, I'm not talking about other YouTubers. Each YouTuber is a different person or team of people. But yeah. And especially if I stay up the previous night branding like I was doing at 11:30 p.m. the previous night. I was online recording my I'm back video and changing the banner image, or at least for this channel, MixItUp Podcast. For the YouTube channel, obviously. For those of you that are listening to the audio later, just go check out the uh YouTube channel and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I might even change it again there before the audio versions even get to be produced someday in the future. Because remember, I'm updating it constantly. I'm at least right now. I'm not sure how much my but I'm talking future. I just have to engage. I have to not only engage with upcoming like near future. I have to engage with far future. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Then I woke up the previous morning on Tuesday the 27th when I happened to edit the script and with my glasses smudged, making me to just wanna take a break rather than filming the script, planning the script. And that's where the procrastination happens, because I don't have a dedicated team of people in an assembly line and all of that, or a serious schedule. But spoiler alert, um, no. Well, if you looked at the bottom of this table, you'd see all the topics and categories I've planned. But yeah, that's why I've got this, right here on my desk, literally at the eye level while I film this. That way I can refer to. But yeah, if I showed you, if I had shown you what this at the bottom of the paper document, if I had shown you what is at the bottom of this, then it would give away all the episode topics I've got for September. Oh, and by the way, I know this is off topic, but season 2, episode 5, which that will actually be uploaded the first Tuesday of October, because September only has 4 regular Tuesday. September only has 4 Tuesdays, and of course October first rolls around. October, right? 10/01/24, which will be a Tuesday, and that's when episode 5 of this very season, season 2, gets released. And that I actually haven't figured out the topic. So please comment down below what I should, what you potentially want to see. And, I might even make a poll in my community tab, which, if I do, I will definitely announce that poll in a following podcast. But of course, before when I do record episode 5, yeah, it's interesting. Even I have troubles figuring out what I want to record. And so I guess episode 5 is going to be maybe viewers' decision. I'm not sure. Maybe I might ask my friends. Maybe I might even do a Zoom meeting. I'm not sure. But yeah, just comment down below. Do you all want, even if you want to see, even if you want to see a Zoom meeting or a Skype meeting or a Google Meet meeting, but yeah, just comment down below what do you want episode 5 to be? Comment down below some of your ideas, and even if they don't get introduced in episode 5, I might introduce them on some of the other podcast episodes. But yeah, that would definitely help me out a lot. But yeah. Okay, anyways. Yeah. So I keep promising that I will be back, and then when when I am back, then I disappear. Because when I do make a series schedule, something, little happens, and I get sidetracked. Part of that, part of that is because my ADHD, which we all have some sort of ADHD, right? Think we can all agree on that, right? We all have some sort of it, but some people more than others. My ADHD lets me focus on certain things, which is a benefit because it helps me focus on new ideas to come up with. But then there's follow through problems, and that is, guess what? Procrastination, the topic of today's episode. Then there is quality time, which I also value and need, right? Right? Like every human needs free time and quality time. But then the domino effect happens there. I am so used to free time and all that, where where when I should be daily vlogging, I forget to record because I'm so used to spending the moment as is. As is, just, enjoying the moment personally, rather than vlogging. Then comes editing. I procrastinate at editing. If something fails or breaks, like Apple's iMovie is notoriously bad. Like, come on, Apple, up your game. Up your game. Up your game. Oh, and by the way, I'm actually gonna do a video on my main channel about my editing setup too. Which, that also should build up viewer hype, or at least I hope it does. Because I do have a bunch of stuff coming, so definitely the hype is real, because I do have a bunch of entertaining stuff coming on these channels. Then, yeah. Part of who I am, right, if something breaks, then I want to break, right? Part of who I am, right? Like, if that happens, then I want to break, because I'm just sick and tired of it breaking and failing. Right in the middle of when I'm trying to upload a video or edit a video for you all, right? When I'm trying to entertain you all, something that messes with me is definitely a pet peeve, and then it makes me procrastinate. Just, part of who I am, We all have something going on, right? We all have some sort of procrastination because of something one way or the other, It's just part of the world, right? Part of life. Or if I am tired all the time because guess what? I was out at midnight the past couple nights doing work on YouTube, or even having my own free time because I was busy all day, and finally at midnight I finally got free time, Then I will also forget to edit or do any of the 6 steps, or at least 5 steps before 6, right? Because I'm putting number 6, free and quality time, on top of all the others. Which I think in the future I'm gonna need to re-edit and rework personally. On a side note, in the future I am gonna have to strategize and put steps 1 to 5 of a YouTuber's life on top of 6 if I want to see more videos and more hyped content be produced. Because the more the content, the better, which I will be talking about in future episodes. So starting from now on, you all will probably see me carrying some sort of coffee mug of some type and drinking a hot cup of caffeinated coffee. I also have troubles figuring out what to include in my videos because I'm trying to decide what will get the most attention and views and be entertaining. Which, by the way, is why you should comment down below and definitely check out the community tab, and not just on this channel, but comment on all my other channels and check out the community tabs on them, because then getting suggestions will help me figure that stuff out. Or I guess episode 5, for example, right? I couldn't figure out what to get the most attention. This is a topic I figured I would discuss, right? The procrastination topic. The topic of this podcast episode is a topic I figured I would discuss because part of this means I have to mix things up. And my motto is mix it up, right? So I am supposed to mix it up. So for those of you who are dealing with the same sorts of problems, I wanted to share some tips and tricks. That's why I made this episode. Mostly because it's an important topic, but also because I want people to have a better insight of a YouTuber's life. Right? The behind the scenes that YouTubers don't usually discuss much. My bestie, who I am hoping will make an appearance at some point at some point, right, I'm hoping she's gonna make an appearance at some point on this podcast channel, once said, the best procrastinate, right? The best procrastinate. So it did give me some hope and make me feel better and actually motivated me. So what if procrastination means not posting all the time and instead posting randomly? Could that be an advantage? Yes. So it honestly depends. And I'm sort of neutral, where procrastination is both good and bad, right? Teeter-totter, right? Good and bad. Sort of neutral, right? Like a teeter-totter in balanced neutral position. Right? Positive and negative. Positive because, right? Positive because you get time where you are just sitting around, charging your battery, so to say, and not focused on YouTube life. Or not focused on the producer's version of YouTube, but it doesn't mean that you are focused on being a viewer, right? Not only am I a producer on YouTube, but I'm also a viewer just like you all. And I'm watching channels like J Stew, Ireland Boys Productions, Mr. Beast. But at the same time, for people, uh, yeah, right? So I'm right positive because you get the time where you are just sitting around and charging your battery, not focused on YouTube. But bad at the same time for people that have a goal, right? And so that's why it's both good and bad. And I am in the middle, right? So basically, I have these goals and dreams as a YouTuber, but yet I procrastinate. Yeah, you see, I procrastinate. And that's I'm being open about it, and creating a podcast about it. I am probably one of the best at creating entertainment, or yeah, one of the. I'm not saying I am the one of the. So in that sense, it is a positive because I am one of those people where procrastination, I guess, charges my battery, and at the same time find it annoying because guess what? Content doesn't get uploaded or produced. And that's where we have to mix it up, like my motto, but I keep saying in videos. Which, it's been a minute since I shared that motto, but would why would mixing it come into play, right? Well, the first thing I need to ask myself about my motto is, what does Mix It Up mean? And Mix It Up means all sort of things, which is part of why I chose that motto, right? Right, it's sort of like how if you check out J Stew, for example, right, their motto is laugh daily or must have snacks, and they've got two mottos going on. Right, it means that I, as a creator, won't just be posting one particular genre of things. Right, so you see all the common YouTubers like Mr. Beast is always doing epic dares genre or winning money, right? So two genres there. Or J Stew is posting random entertainment. Then there are vlog channels. I am trying to incorporate all the genres, but all in one. Well, and of course, safely and legally. I'm not interested in getting far and beyond and, getting arrested because I pulled some stupid prank or whatever. I'm not like one of those YouTubers, sorry. Uh, but I still have a bunch of hype up and lit and entertaining content, even though I am not really an internet prankster. So mixing it up comes into play because sometimes life can take its own route and dictate what people might do. And it makes people do wild, random things sometimes. So that's where, as a creator, right? I'm literally a creator, right? A creator is someone, or at least on YouTube, right? The YouTube's definition of a creator, right? Someone who films, produces, edits, and then uploads content and hosts a channel, all of that, right? Like, I need to mix it up as a creator. So, right, basically, that being said, mix it up comes into play here and the topic of procrastination because of personal growth. According to ChatGPT, when you find yourself procrastinating, it's often a sign that you need a change of pace or perspective. This is where Mix It Up becomes more than just a content strategy. It's a life approach. If procrastination is slowing you down, use it as an opportunity to explore new ideas, try different approaches, or adjust your goals. Mixing things up helps break the monotony and can lead to unexpected breakthroughs. But everyone, I can't just go with what ChatGPT says. So I, as a creator, have to use that as reference to help me create these podcasts. Since this is since this podcast is for entertainment purposes, I feel confident using ChatGPT here, just to make things more entertaining. If it was a school research project or whatever, that'd be a whole separate story. So I will give my own life scenario based off of this to prove that in this case, ChatGPT is correct, or mostly correct, on this subject in particular. In my own life, when I found myself procrastinating, it's usually because of some busy schedule, like what I was talking about earlier in this episode. And schedules are usually pace related, right? Oh, something clicking there? Yeah, it is. Related, right? So I do test, test perspective myself, right? Or at least when I was planning that, but, reading it back, I think ChatGPT's on the point there too. Or at least in this case, it is. Because, right? Because the perspective, right? Changing the perspective means adjusting your schedules and agendas and pace. And some of it sort of refers to some of the stuff I was talking about earlier that I need to do, which is I need to value all the steps 1 to 5, right, of a YouTuber's life before step number 6. Right? Yeah. And, and but I am interested to know if others have also sensed any of that. But definitely on the pace, right? ChatGPT was on the ball. And even, right, because when I planned this, I didn't see why perspective would even be mentioned, but now I do. Now I see why it relates. What, what about it being more than just a content strategy, right? Because as ChatGPT said, more than just a content strategy. Well, again, pace related. Since pace can be related to busy schedules, then yeah. So basically, the reason why mixing it comes into play is because if I have a busy schedule, and of course this is on my own time site, I'm not speaking on behalf of other YouTuber sites. So basically, the reason why mixing it up comes into play is because if I have a busy schedule and similar things on that front, I have to change my pace. And then I have to have a new approach of life. If I change my pace, which equals adjusting my goals. So that definitely proves GPT mostly correct, or even correct, I guess. Well, at least on this matter. But you know what? Kids, if you are watching and or listening to this podcast, don't try using ChatGPT at home. So to reiterate what I've discussed in today's episode of Mix It Up Podcast, procrastination is a big problem. And is personally the reason why I have been on and off YouTube constantly. But one life lesson learned for sure is that sometimes we need to create calendars, right? So the like what I showed you all here earlier, right? We have to create calendars and change our goals and pace, and then we can then be happier having a constant upload schedule on YouTube, or at least in my case on YouTube, right? Because I'm not speaking on behalf of other creators, or it can even be in day-to-day tasks too. Whatever it may be, though still, remember, the best do procrastinate, right? Remember that quote I mentioned earlier? A topic I will have my bestie, or at least I hope to have my bestie discuss with me on a future episode of Mix It Up Podcast. For right now, I need to stop procrastinating and finish this podcast so then I can edit and upload it, and edit and upload a bunch of other content I have, and even recording as well. I've enjoyed getting to share more about the YouTuber's life and how procrastination is a big thing in a YouTuber's life. Until the next podcast, I'm your host, Nicholas. Thanks for tuning in.